Welcome to the spring semester. I am David Offenberg. I'm an associate professor of entertainment finance at Loyola Marymount, joined once again for a hot new semester by my colleague Josh Spisman, also an associate professor of finance at Loyola Marymount. Josh, the huge news this week is Microsoft buying Activision. How did the market respond?
Well, they thought this was a good deal if you're an Activision shareholder. You could see that the stock price jumped way up on the announcement day, and basically about a 26% return, sort of at the announcement of this news that Microsoft is taking over Activision.
That's huge. But if I remember the news correctly, Microsoft is buying them for 95 a share. Is that right?
That's right. And so this is kind of interesting. So because basically if we look at the last couple of trading days, the average share price for Activision is about $82.24. So let's call it $82 roughly. And yet Microsoft is going to pay you $95 for one of these shares. And this is amazing. This is like about 15.5% discount. So you can buy these Activision shares for say $82, and Microsoft will then give you $95 per share. And this sounds amazing. What a great deal. But there's some interesting things going on here, and I kind of I'm thinking of this as a fruit analogy. So basically, if I told you could buy a delicious California orange, we're in California, for $1, and you could take that orange and bring it to New York. That's where I'm from originally. Take it to New York, and someone in New York is going to pay you $5 for this delicious California orange. You would do it, of course, right? You buy something for $1 and immediately go and sell it for $5. What a great deal. But of course, there's a little bit of a risk there, because in that travel time from California to New York, maybe that orange spoils, maybe you lose the orange. Something could go wrong and you don't actually make that gain. And that's sort of what could happen here. And this is true of all merger deals. So basic, acquisitions. When there's some interesting research, we'll put a link in the notes for a proper citation, but some interesting research by GMO LLC that's shown basically mergers tend to trade, the acquisitions tend to be at about roughly a 6% discount from the actual acquiring price. And the top quartile is about 10%. So this is still a really big discount. And so I'm wondering if you think you have any ideas why that discount might be so big. I also have to ask, what is that background? Is that a Call of Duty background?
Oh, that's a totally reasonable guess. But no, these are actually Microsoft's antitrust attorneys. And so my hypothesis about why we've got this gap from 82 to 95 is antitrust. And so let me do just a small background on antitrust in the United States, because it's getting so exciting these days. Remember, in order for Microsoft to join with Activision in the United States, there are two government agencies who have to approve the deal: the Department of Justice, the DOJ, and the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC. And historically, the DOJ and the FTC would approve a merger if there was no consumer harm. So as long as prices didn't go up and as long as consumer choice didn't go down, they would let the merger go through. So famously, about 10 years ago, AT&T tried to buy T-Mobile, and they blocked it. The government blocked it because it would reduce consumer choice. We would go from 4 carriers to 3, and prices would probably go up because AT&T would have more power in the market. So that's sort of the historical background. But in comes the 32-year-old rock star, Lina Khan. Lina Khan, about 5 years ago, when she was a law school student, put together this amazing argument that is a very outdated way to evaluate mergers. And in a digital age, we need to look at things like the effect on the labor force, the effect on suppliers, what happens when companies aggregate data, what happens when companies squash innovation in their industry. And Joe Biden, in one of his very first acts as president, not only appointed Lina Khan to the Federal Trade Commission, but he appointed her the chair of the Federal Trade Commission, 32 years old, because she's got these big, bold new ideas. And this week, Lena Khan, with her partners at the Department of Justice, announced that they are changing the merger guidelines to incorporate all these new ways that companies compete. And it's really revolutionary because for most of their life, the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission have not used the same merger guidelines. And they are now getting onto the same page and they're saying, we need to move forward together in this way. And Republicans are on board with this. Democrats are on board with this. And to give you an example, I want you to think back to Facebook's acquisitions of WhatsApp and Instagram. These arguably had no effect on consumer price because they're free, right? Nobody pays for these. And yet these are disastrous acquisitions because through these two deals, Facebook has come to control an incredible amount of consumer data, which has made them a dominant player in social media advertising. And so consumers have actually been harmed because there's way less innovation in the space, and advertisers have been harmed because they have fewer places to put ads up on social media. And so under Lena Khan's idea, these acquisitions would have never, ever gone through. And that brings us to where we're at now with Microsoft buying Activision, because Microsoft owns Xbox and they're trying to buy Activision, which also owns Blizzard and King Studios. And in that deal, Microsoft is going to get access to 400 million users worth of data, 400 million users worth of data. And these people also probably use Windows. They also probably use Office 365 and LinkedIn and Skype. And so Microsoft is suddenly going to have all this great data on their customers, which is going to help them become a more dominant company in all kinds of ways you can't even imagine. Let me give you one final example of how this could work out.
Great.
Josh, you shop on Amazon, right?
Of course, who doesn't?
Who doesn't? This morning I was shopping on Amazon, and I got my ceramic heater, I got my Le Creuset, and Amazon gave me this little, hey, do you want $1 reward if we don't deliver it today? We'll deliver it in a few days. And that seems like a pretty innocuous little thing. It's just $1 that I can use somewhere else on Amazon. But it's not, because Amazon knows me and they know I'm going to use that dollar to rent a movie. And when I rent a movie on Amazon, two things have happened. Number one, I've bought into another piece of the Amazon ecosystem and I've become trapped in there, even without realizing that I've become trapped. And number two, I have not gone to rent the movie on another platform. And Amazon has crushed the competition onto other movie rental platforms because they know that they can give me this dollar and I'm going to use it, and millions of other consumers are going to do the same thing. This would not be allowed under the new merger guidelines that the DOJ and the FTC are proposing. But they're only guidelines and they're going to take months to work out, and then they have to go through the courts. And so in the meantime, maybe Microsoft will buy Activision, maybe not. But that's my hypothesis. That's why I think we've got this $13 gap. But you've got your own hypothesis, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's other things that could happen too. It's possible that Activision shareholders might just say, we want more money. And this actually just happened also this week in sort of the other news that we're not covering, where Unilever was going to take over GlaxoSmithKline, and GlaxoSmithKline shareholders said, we want more money, and Unilever just walked away from the deal. And this is a possibility that could happen. I think another thing too is, we're focused here on the US, but I suspect in this case, other countries, regulators are going to want to have their say, and that could also become a little bit of a problem. But here's the thing I was thinking about, because we are doing these videos for our Intro to Finance undergraduate student class, and we just started the semester, and I know we're both going to be talking about time value of money. And
time value of money.
Right, yeah. Like, hey, here's a great example. Microsoft expects this deal to close in about 18 months. You can buy something for $82. You're going to get $95. Roughly about 15.5% return, but that's over 18 months. So if I just tell you 15.5% return, we want to make sure our students know this, right? You need to know the time period, how long is it going to take matters. And so getting to a concept we're going to be covering soon, the effective annual return. So we can annualize that return. It's about 10.33%. So if you think that what you and I are talking about, where this deal might not go through, if you think that we're full of it, we don't know what we're talking about, and this deal is definitely going through, you can ask yourself, am I willing to take that risk and earn 10.33% of about 10.33% annual return, there you go.
And that explains it. And so maybe it's some of both. Maybe there's some people just making sure they get time value money out of their $82 investment. Maybe there's some people who are hedging based on antitrust. And I'm sure there's other explanations as well that we haven't even come up with.
I'm sure.
But
yeah.
It's a fascinating take on this $13 gap here.
That's right. Great. Well, this is awesome. I'm really happy I learned about this today.
I'm happy. And we've got many more videos to come this semester.